This is Bold TV. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, audience. Good morning, everybody. Today is another episode of Bold TV, beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities, where we talk about disabilities and issues related to disabilities. If you like this program and you enjoy it and you're learning, we solicit for support. Wherever you can partner with us, you can pay our subscription and also you can participate in the program. We have women, 5 anchor women that's always on the program. They can tell you more about it. We have Afyong, we have Nifreke, we have Beyonce, we have Oluwatomisi, and you have I of Saki, your chief host for today. Today we have an interesting topic, which is disability support system. But before then, I would like to introduce that we've got so far that we are into YouTube now. After now, you get our YouTube shares. And on Facebook, you can get us through www.facebook.com/boldheartsnetwork. So those are the social medias we are all still trying to get into as far as we can, trying to see how we can spread these information and share our experiences and sensitize the world. Back to today's topic, disability support system. Before I start, I would like the women in the house to introduce themselves by way of your name, location, occupation, and type of disability. So I'll start with Tomisi. Tomisi, please help us with your details.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here with you again. It's another beautiful Saturday. I'm Oluwatomisi Adepa. I'm a broadcast journalist, disability and gender rights advocate. I'm a visually impaired person. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomisi. You're highly welcome. My next person goes to Beyonce. Please introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Abiose Falade. I live in Ibadan. I'm a person with disability. I am the author. I'm a writer and I'm an author. I am the executive director, Angel Wings Global Freedom Foundation. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Beyonce. You're highly welcome. Next on my list, Nifreke, please introduce yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Freki Andrew-Essien. I'm based in Port Harcourt in Rivers State, member of Bold Hearts Network, Faker Foundation, public health professional and researcher. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Inne, please introduce yourself.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alukunena, a polio survivor. I work in the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. I stay in Abuja.
Thank you. So I introduce myself. I'm Osaki Teresa George. I reside in Port Harcourt, polio survivor. I'm a trainer in market application. I'm a chief host for Today I Use Crutches. So today's topic is on disability support system. We talk about how persons need help or circumstance that has disability, how you can support this person have a better life, a more inclusive, a more life of fulfillment with the support that will be rendered. So I will go around with my questions to the ladies. Like the first two, might not go around everybody, but this one is just for people that will answer it. So I'd like to define the disability support system. Oluwatomisi.
Disability support system, just like the word implies, support system. It means that various mechanisms that are in place to give support, to cushion the effect, to help a person with disability navigate through that impairment. These are mechanisms that are in place right from the beginning, right from the family to institutions, the government, religious institutions, every aspect of livelihood of a person with disability. So these are mechanisms that are in place to help those navigation be smooth and adequate.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Beyonce, if you have any other contribution, can you contribute to that defining disability support system?
Thank you, Osaki. Disability support system are the systems that help persons with disability survive day-to-day activities. Like, take for example the support system of someone helping you if you're visually impaired cross the busy roads or something like that. So disability, that is what the disability support system is.
Still on the disability support system, generally we have different areas. So that means that will go around to all of us. Just say one things you know about that you think that will aid this support system. Like I would say, like the medical sector, whereby it can be easier for persons to be able to access and get medical attention. Like we already have this representative center whereby you go there, it's either they give you attention, but it might not be full, but you can have your medical needs and aid to help you have a life. So, Frankie, please can you help us with that?
Okay, so when we think about disability support system, I want the picture that we paint here to not just be individualized, but we should think about systems that are actually in place to support persons with disabilities. And when you talk about disability support system, that's the crux of disability mainstreaming. When you hear disability mainstreaming, that's the conversation that is had when we talk about disability mainstreaming, where existing structures are inclusive of disability or have organized intentions around providing support for persons with disabilities. So having said that, when we think about disability support systems, when it comes to persons with disabilities, we think about different aspects of disability that need support. So sorry I'm coming in this angle, but I just feel that I need to lay this background. So when you think about disability support system, what is the support that is needed for persons with disabilities? Number one is rights advancement. So advancing the rights of persons with disabilities needs a support. So when you think about rights, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about the media's role. You're thinking about the justice role. Thinking about legal roles. I hope I'm helping. When you think about another form of support system, think about, for example, what are the other aspects? Participation and inclusion of persons with disabilities. So in this kind of instance, what would be a support system provided? Think about government, or should I say organizations, having an inclusion strategy or inclusive policy where they already have a plan for inclusion for persons with disabilities. When you think about participation, that's enabling participation. You think about where organizations or interventions have representation of persons with disabilities, not just at the implementation phase, but from planning to implementation. Another aspect that persons with disabilities would need support for is actually now the services, access to services, which is where a lot of the examples were told to us, like in the health sector, where you have a health service being inclusive, being patient-centered. So a person who comes that has visual impairment comes in, that person's service or health service being rendered to the person is tailored to ensure that the support is provided for that visually impaired client. So that is the concept of disability support systems. So it goes beyond just that individualistic approach. It talks about systems. And when you think it, you're thinking rights of persons, that's rights advancement, you're thinking inclusion and participation, you're thinking services, self-support for persons with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very good one. Nne, do you have anything to add to what she has just said?
That sector that we have in our country, Nigeria, making it accessible for persons living with disability. And also full participation is, disability support system is a specific support meant for persons to participate. So these are those support systems. We have journal page, we have human disability rights. These are the things that make them to live comfortable, to live a comfortable life, and to be able to communicate, to be able to contribute their own quota to the economic of the country, and also to be able to participate in the community in which they live. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But now that we've established the general forms of the support system, so I'd like us to narrow it or come back to our own country where we can, let's have it like a direct contact, that one-on-one participation on how we can reach these places, or if we don't know, we can learn it from here. So Frankie, that question back to you, that the different support system we have in Nigeria. Please tell us more about it.
So basically, when you think about the support systems in Nigeria, they are very limited, especially when they are compared to other countries. I think I'm speaking to the system-based, institutionalized-based support systems, not family support or all that. The responsibility of government towards persons with disabilities in Nigeria is still sketchy, or should I say it's still like an afterthought. And consistently, we can see that persons with disabilities and organizations of persons with disabilities continue to advance for social protection and protection services for PWDs in Nigeria. So let me give an instance. Consider a country, let's say like Australia, and where they have actual benefits for persons with disabilities, like packages for persons with disabilities to support where a person with disability maybe is not employed, and then they have disability services or welfare services for that individual. That's an example of a support system provided by a government institution. So a lot of this is not forthcoming per se in Nigeria. The responsible ministries, development agencies, like the ministry, for example, in Rivers State, the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, when you consider the level of support that they provide for persons with disabilities, it's always usually tied to maybe a rehabilitation center. I don't know if you get. So that's, the level of support, based on the medical model. Sometimes it's not even medical rehabilitation per se, it's just maybe a home or something. So we have this stringent and very low effort in providing support systems. So I'm hoping that this program will help, and we'll talk about what's available, we'll talk about what should be, and to encourage that providing support for persons with disability should not be limited to the impairment. It should be holistic. The end sense of rehabilitation in the word is that this person goes back into society to live a life as independent as possibly can, given the impairment that the person has, and given the impairment or the interaction between the impairment and the environment. So we need to get ourselves to the point in our government, in our country, where we begin to see support of persons with disability go beyond welfare, and then go beyond and this welfare, one-off welfare, which usually comes on somebody's birthday or United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities sometimes. So we need to step beyond that, because for now in Nigeria, we're still dancing around the charity model and medical model of disability. Let me stop.
Thank you very much, Frankie. That's a very good contribution. It's amazing. So, Missy, please add up to that. Since you're in a different location, we're talking about Port Harcourt, Rivers State. So, tell us anyone that you get around that area, except the location where you are, Ibadan, Lagos, or thereabouts.
Well, unfortunately, all of these places are still in Nigeria. So, like Freki pointed out, we are still dancing around that charity and medical model. And right here in Ogun State, where I currently reside, Abeokuta to be precise, you will notice that if other states like Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are stepping up onto the social model, we are here still battling with the charity model because we have not even gotten to that point of the medical model yet. Because things are what it is. This is a place where culture and tradition is still very much embedded. You find that people still live in that communal livelihood where the family, the traditional rulers, the religious leaders, the opinion leaders, they are the ones who shape perspective, they're the ones who shape opinion right here. So it's still pretty much the same thing, and in some places it's worse, trust me. And the kind of awareness you have in a state like Lagos when it comes to disability, where you as a visually impaired person can stand on the main road and then you find out that law enforcement agencies, traffic officers, they are there to ask you, oh, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How can we help? But right here, people are still staring at you like, what's wrong with you? I mean, why are you just standing there? And then, they want to feel arms and all of those things. So the support system is pretty much the same thing. And then you also find sometimes even the family who, is supposed to be the bedrock of providing support for a person with disability to enable them live their life, are not even stepping up to that responsibility. They don't even know what to do. The awareness, the information is not really out there. So all of this put together still puts Nigeria at that point where so much more needs to be done in order to ensure that systems are in place. And systems are not just in place because Nigeria, we have this attitude of putting things in place, but do we follow up to ensure that those things are really working to the maximum capacity that they should work? So when we are putting systems in place, are we ensuring that these systems are realistic? Are they holistic? Are they workable? Are they achievable? Is it something that's okay, looking back 2, 5 years, 10 years from now, we would still say, oh, okay, we are glad we did this. We are glad we made this happen. Because disability is something that should be provided for every time and every day. Because if you do not have it by accident, how about when old age comes and those support systems are not there for persons with disability? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So in all of that, you're still saying that Nigeria is still behind, and even though we have them, there should be workable system, as in continuity, not one-off, not a particular tenor, but something that should be continued, that should just be there. As long as life exists, those systems should be workable. So my next question, we should go around the practical tip that everybody will contribute one, but please brief your answers so that we can go around. We have our time is fast going. Practical tips that can be put in place for women and disability to have a good support system. Beyonce, if you're there, please any one practical tip that you know that is possible for women and girls to have a good disability support system.
When women and young girls with disability join support groups, both on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, where they can talk about their problems and get practical help, things like support. That's the kind of support I think can practically work in Nigeria, where you can get hands-on someone talk to you about what you need to do. Yeah, that's one of the support system I think can help in Nigeria. That is practical.
Okay, thank you very much. Ine, please add up to that. One practical support system tips.
One practical way just to, first of all, to identify person with disability and know what they want, know their needs before giving them support. And giving them support is based on their disability, not generally, individual, based on individual needs. Thank you.
Okay, that's a very good contribution. Oluwatomi, please add up your voice to that.
I would say one practical step to ensure that support systems are in place in Nigeria would still take us back to the disability law, which has been signed by the president. It means that implementation of that law needs to start, and this would automatically put institutions on their toes to ensure that they provide accessible and inclusive services. They also, they provide accessible and inclusive services to persons with disabilities, women and girls inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you. Fred, give some practical tips.
Okay, so I'm going to toe the line that Tomisi had already, gone, because I really believe in system strengthening. While individualistic approach is good, but I believe that system strengthening drives it down even further. So currently we have a law, a law that prohibits discrimination, and that law provides for how persons with disabilities in Nigeria should be treated and related and accounted for. And the commission that is responsible for implementation of that law, which is the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, has currently been instituted and is doing the work that it's doing by ensuring relations between persons with disability or the disability community in Nigeria and different persons across the sector. So it's slowly but surely, but we need to move a bit faster when it comes to implementation, because I have a challenge with where we are in Nigeria. We know we have the federal law and then we have states, and federal engagement of the law is very advanced, but when it comes to states, there's still this amnesia that is happening. So I'm still looking forward to where federal laws signed, in FCT, which are supposed to be binding for all Nigerians, are taken up, seriously, either by way of domestication within the states or by enforcing, because we're still in Nigeria. So I think that's where we are, because a lot of times you find some people don't even know about the current law, among states, even among persons with disabilities. They don't know the how to exercise the law that is in place. And I believe that there are many, if you look at the law, there are a lot of provisions that would help us to take a step further into ensuring that our systems are provide enabling for persons with disabilities. So I'm encouraging, the NPW, National Disability Persons with Disability, if I scatter their acronym, with the executive secretary and all of that, to please continue to push organization of persons with disabilities, to continue to push the agenda of persons with disabilities in this country. The journey continues, and even us getting that law is not the stopping point, it's just the beginning, because there are so many aspects to tackle: education, health, justice, name it, to tackle, when it comes to disability support systems. So that is government side. Now let me just face the private sector. Okay, so my people in the private sector, which is where a lot of persons in Nigeria fall into, as long as you offer maybe some level of public service, please have a sense of responsibility towards all of your clientele, which is diversified. So think about disability support when you start a public service. So for example, in most higher institutions, there should be a disability support service office, so that if you have a student with a disability, and should be a standard in our education sector. So if you have a child or a student with disability come into your institution, that's not the time to start figuring out things. You have a set plan, you have a strategy in place to enable that child's education is on equal terms with other students. I hope it's getting simpler. That's what we are talking about. So if you have and for example, you're running a school, you already have in place that contact. Should you have a child, and you should, if you offer a public service, should you have a child with disability come into your facility, what next? That's not the time to be scrambling around. You should have a strategy in place to ensure that child's experience in acquiring education in your institution does not continue to disable the child, but rather is supported in such a way that child experience this education to the fullest and on equal basis with others. I hope this is helping someone. There are a lot of universities, interestingly, in Nigeria that actually have, and that's private universities that offer these services. But we need to, you understand, now understand that it's not a suggestion. It should be something done. So that's a typical example of a disability support system within an institution.
Okay, that's a very good one. I think I will just add up that when it comes to still on the support system, I just think the one I think that's practical within disability community or anybody, it's what about I want to call about the social media practice, whereby you could also help in promoting videos of this kind. You share it, you see how you can make it more, as in popularity. You share it more. Let it spread around all the social media of what people are doing with disability, trying to help one or two persons. You see how you can promote it and let it go wild. And also, yesterday I had an experience. I was trying to go this life now for the common man. We are trying to serve the public, like what Frank is saying, trying to the public area. You try and see how everybody could be able to engage in that public service. I was trying to get something last night, which was I was trying to buy something, and I got to the place, targeted area. For me to get to that place, the place does not have a slab for me to get and to enter towards the place. It was okay, but there's no slab for person with disability. You cannot just cross except you have to jump. You know those hiker. Like I called the manager to notice, and I was like, "What is this? Are you sure you want to serve the public and you want everybody to be your customer?" You know, a lot of apologies and all the rest, and they try to see how I could still get what I want from them. And I told them this was the last time I would do it. And the next time I come and they don't have anything of that kind, I'll go to the next place. You know, so all those kind of common things that we should be able to do, like making life easier for the next person, because we don't know who will be next. So you try and see how much accessibility can be there, or some things are all those high. Then when COVID, like still COVID is still there, all those sanitizer and the rest, it's always high. Let them try and do it a little bit low. So people that are not so tall, with disability, can be able to stretch their hands and be able to participate or use certain facilities. So that's what I think I can have when it comes to disability support system. So finally, our last question goes round, and this is a very technical one and a good one, which I'm going to say advice to the public and disability community on disability support system. How we've said a lot now, but this is our final take and our last talk on general advice to everybody, including ourselves too. So it will be a question that will go round to all of us so that we can talk. Some cities, can you start on that?
Okay, so I would say that as persons with disabilities, women and girls with disabilities, organizations for and for persons with disabilities, I would say that we need to keep talking, we need to keep asking for these things, we need to keep, engaging in conversations like this. I like the fact that you were somewhere yesterday and we were able to kind of sensitize them on what to do, enlighten them on what to do. So we need, our society is a society that, doesn't ask so much information. Even when you look at the mainstream Nigeria, without persons with disability, there is really a problem of information, a problem of people accessing information, people being able to acquire the right knowledge about issues. So we need to just keep talking, engaging in conversations like this. And like you said, videos like ours on GoTV would also suffice, share wide and far, share to people to enlighten them. Organizations take up that responsibility. It's not just about when it is International Women's Day or when it is International Day for Persons with Disabilities that we engage in this conversation. We just keep talking about it, and then we hope that one day the change we all desire and pray for would, materialize. Thank you.
Thank you. Ine, please add your voice to that.
Okay. Well, what I want to say is on health and structures. But before I say that implementation is the problem in our country. A lot has been said, a lot has been written down, but implementation is the problem. If they will implement all that is written in disability law concerning building, I think it will be accessible, and also health sector. A person with disability will go to hospital to access for this thing, the kind of question they will ask you, you'll be ashamed of yourself. You'll be asking yourself, are you a human being? So I think they need to, implementation is the main problem. They need to implement all those laws that are written. And also, person with disability, they should speak out, ask questions. Any places that you go, ask about disability desk officer. Encourage them to institute them in any organization or in any place that you went, organization that you went to, so that those people will attend to you because they have been trained on how to attend to person living with disability. Thank you.
Okay, I think Osaki has been thrown out. So Beyonce, go ahead.
So, well, I think that what we need to do for ourselves and for the society at large, as persons with disability, we should get informed and get educated about the laws that bind us and laws that we can advocate for that will help us to make things better for ourselves. And then if we, as persons with disability, educate ourselves, then we can now educate the society, and then we can get easier, better support system being put in place when they understand. Because what I have learned is that people are afraid of what they don't understand. And since they don't understand what it means to have a disability or anything, so it's sounding weird to them. Why do these people need support system? But basically, this support system is not basically for only persons with disability. We have to make it as a whole. It's for every human being. So it's part of life. Like I always say, disability is part of the circle of life. And since it's part of the circle of life, we need to be able to support each other. So persons with disability need to learn how to first support each other before they can find support from outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome, Frankie. That gets to you.
So I will try to speak to everybody in a nutshell. So I would like to encourage government, especially in the area of emergency preparedness. I want to refer to COVID-19. COVID-19 is one pandemic in history that taught us many lessons, and it will be terrible if we forget the lessons learned. One thing that COVID-19 taught us was that everybody that is not protected, if everyone is not protected, then nobody is safe. And it became very important for government and health practitioners and everybody who was involved to understand that when you are exclusive in information sending, when you're exclusive in information generation, that if a group of persons are not getting the right information and are not doing the right things by way of protecting themselves, then nobody's safe. And all of a sudden, we began to get persons with disability in the disability community advocating for inclusive messaging, advocating for inclusion in emergency preparedness towards COVID-19. This should never happen again in a country like this. When things are being put in place from the beginning, it should be inclusive. Disability support should be at the forefront when we're having emergency preparedness. And this is not just for COVID-19 or a health pandemic. It should be for all emergencies. I thought I should bring that up strongly. All right, so for family support is very important for persons with disabilities because it's kind of that first support experience that a lot of persons with disability get. And when the family disappoints in providing that support, it can be very difficult for that individual to trust any other system or any other support anywhere because that initial trust factor had been denied the person. So family support is a form of disability support that is so crucial for persons with disabilities. And by defining family, it can be the generic definition or just the close-knit people who you see as a family. So that's very crucial support. I'm going to talk about OPD support that has been talked about. And then the general public. Disassociating from disability may not be the best way because, like somebody rightly said, age has a way of telling on our bodies, and all of a sudden those steps that you thought why this we're talking about steps become like a mountain that you cannot climb. So let us build wisely, knowing that the cycle of life is real, and let us know that when we talk about disability support, we are not talking about extra cost. We're talking about what is right by a group of persons that matter also. Thank you very much.
My voice is nice for the public and and disability community. For the public, it's just to give an opportunity in everything you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to organize an interview or public service. Just create that mind that what about if somebody of this kind comes in, how will the person participate? So just create that small room, like Frankie said earlier, that opportunity space. That my disability community let's see how we can share opportunities to each other, especially when that particular opportunity does not concern you. Look out for the next person that you think will benefit. Must not really be what you will benefit before you share. Even when you might not benefit, maybe age factor or skill factor, whatever factor that you feel okay, this is not for me. Like who around this area that this thing might best fit.
I want to encourage that the power of planning helps. So instead of, for example, you're offering an opportunity where you have control of getting information of the person that you're providing that opportunity for. So this is my small, 2 cents in strategizing and being inclusive. Instead of waiting for that person or the persons to come and then you now discover that there is a person with disability, for example, among the persons you want to interview, for instance, you can solicit for that information as part of information you are getting from the initial standoff so that you can plan effectively. So part of your request, just like you will ask somebody, what is your preferred gender? You can ask disability status. You can ask, what support do you require to be able to participate in this process? It's a valid question you can ask from the beginning to enable you to be inclusive in providing a service or providing an intervention. Okay.
Amazing. That's a great answer and a very good contribution. So we've said so much, we've talked so much, people are listening, we are learning, and every day it goes on like this. We're trying to say how we can change the narrative, which I know one day is going to change. Even it's a gradual process, but it's changing. So the more we talk, the more things get better. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies. Same year next week, we'll be here to discuss another topic. And I'm so proud and I'm so happy that we are live, or we are on YouTube channel. We are on Facebook. We are growing wild every now and then. So thank you, everybody, for coming, for attending, for watching. And we are still on Facebook, www.facebook.com/boldheartnetwork. If you want to participate, or you want to sponsor an episode, or you want to say you can be a partner, call on Frecky, Afyong, Tomisi, Beyonce, and I will be here to help you. Same year, same time next week. Thank you very much, and remember.
This is Bold TV.